So welcome to Fab Race Mod Repeat. It's 2019 and it's time to get back in the shop and get back to work. Had a nice vacation and a holiday, took a little week off there. Put a video up earlier this week. And for those of you that follow me on Facebook and Instagram, you've seen these tools before and little captions saying it was time to do some magic. Well, what that magic was involved those FE heads I did a review on a little while back. And that's the first project we're starting on this year, and they're for a little 65 Ford pickup truck project that a friend of mine's been working on for quite some time, and we're doing his engine for him. And I wanted to cover two things today. I had some questions about why would anybody use an FE nowadays, and what was I going to do with these burrs without a CNC machine. Well, the FE motor, as I said before, is one of the most researched and developed Ford engines there is. Yes, they have their limits depending on what block you use, right? You use a stock block, aftermarket block, base 390 block, 427 block. It all depends. But typically, 390 blocks are good to about 600 horsepower. Some of the other blocks are good up around 750. And then you can get crazy with the aftermarket blocks like the Robert Ponds and the Bear motors and 427 Garage and all those. Those are your high-end. If I buy one of those, I'd probably go aluminum. But that's your high-end stuff, that's your race stuff. This is just a good cruiser, good all-around truck. So, Edelbrock heads on a 390 are great for the street. They're great for a lot of high-performance racing applications. And there's a real good place for some hand porting. Why hand port them? Well, it's less expensive than CNC porting. If you're careful, use your measuring tools, use your dividers, take your time. You can get them pretty close to exactly the same. I mean, they're always going to be slightly different because they're done by hand. Even with the CNC machine, there's still a slight percentage of difference between sizes across. But the main thing is just remember your bases. You're not just going in there to make the hole bigger. Just because the hole's bigger doesn't mean it's going to flow better. You have to keep velocity in mind and transition from manifold to head, that sort of thing. And on the FEs, you're dealing with another little intricacy to special them because the manifold is half of the head. The push rods actually go through the manifold and they cause a little bump out in the port. So you have to work with that, and depending on what manifold you use, how good or bad that bump out is. Now, we've actually got two FE projects scheduled for this year. This one being a cruiser, spirited performance driving kind of situation, the one we're currently working on. And the other one's going to be more of a street strip with a little more strip than street. And depending on how much budget's available, that one may or may not get an aftermarket block. We're still making that decision. So, I just thought I'd make this video today and show you how I start setting up to do a hand port job. It's probably going to end up being a two-part video because I only got about half of the head done. I still got to polish up the exhausts, and I started roughing out the intakes last night. And we'll go from there, and as we build the engine, if my client's okay with it, which I believe he will be, but I want to check with him one more time, then we'll show the build of the motor. So, that's where we're at. Now let's cut over to some footage I did yesterday when I was porting on these heads. We're getting ready to port these heads for this 390 project. So let me show you how I usually do this. I think I'll film on the GoPro today, give it a try. Okay, so this is cylinder number 3, passenger side head. So I take my little notebook and I go ahead and I put the project on it. It's MTFE. It's number 398 for the shop. This is the passenger side head, cylinder number 3. So I bring out my trusty valve spring compressor, and this thing's got some valve springs on it. Make sure I'm lined up on the hole. There's the keepers. Go ahead and let the pressure off. Spring comes out. Roll the head over here. keep you all lined up on the camera. Now, I got to get the seal off. And if you don't have a valve stem seal tool to pull them with, you can use the wear plate and a pair of screwdrivers to evenly walk the seal up. Now when you take it off the valve up here, don't just snatch it off. You want to ease it out, so in case you got a sharp edge on the valve, you don't tear the seal out of the valve stem seal. Now once that's out of the way, you can pull the wear plate out. Take your trusty magnet, pull your shim out where they set the valve spring height at the factory. Roll the head over. Pull the valve out. Go ahead and put the valve spring assembly over top of the valve. Get a Ziploc bag. Put the assembly in the Ziploc bag. That keeps it all together where it goes. Put your seal in. Go ahead and close the bag up. Then we're going to do the same thing for the exhaust valve. We'll pop it out. After we get this one out, we're going to put it in a little Ziploc bag. Then we're going to take both Ziploc bags and the piece of paper that we wrote all the information down on, and we're going to put them in a gallon bag, and then we'll stick them over in the box the heads came in. That way it stays together, and you can put them right back where they were. You can check the lap if you want when you're done, but that way all your shim spacing and all should stay as it was from the factory. Go ahead and drop them on the valve. There's that cylinder. Grab the big bag. Put in the exhaust valve assembly. Put in the intake valve assembly. Tear off the sheet. Drop it in the bag. Take the bag and drop it in the head box. While we're here, see if I can zoom down a little bit, get a little closer here. That little hole right there is the oiling hole for these FE shaft rockers that everybody always talks about. That's where you drop the restrictor at on your factory heads. Keep too much oil from getting to the top. Helps with the center oiling situation. Okay, so I need to get a good angle on these so that I can pour it. And I need to be able to see what I'm doing down in there. What I'm going to do, rock the head up. I want to use this busted water pump from some of the water pump fun we had back at the first trip to the track. And I'm going to let that support the angle of the head. Now I'm going to start on this cylinder right here. So I need to move this over a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to take my flashlight, this little mini flashlight, and I'm going to stick it up in here like so. And that's going to give me enough light to see what I'm doing. And for this one, don't forget your eye protection. You only got one set, take good care of them. And you really should wear a respirator and have good ventilation, which I'll turn the fan on in a minute. I'll probably cut the sound off so you don't have to hear the tools running and all, and just do a voiceover on it. But we're going to start with this exhaust port right here.
So in the case of this set of heads, the exhaust port opening is already basically the same size as the client's headers. So I'm just going to open them up just a little bit and work on the transition area into the header, which the flange is shaped pretty much like the heavy-duty stock gaskets on the headers, and it's just a matter of bringing the heads to the gasket, which there really wasn't enough metal there to put a mark on, so it's a thin pencil line running around after it doesn't show up very well in the video. I will focus more of my attention on the short turn radiuses inside the head, both in the vertical and coming up out of the port itself, coming up into the port from the chamber.
So you can see where it's getting shiny. compared to over here where it's dull. And then we're just going to work our way down in there.
Now here I'm starting to work on the bowl area behind the in the pocket behind the valve stem. This is one of those places where you can actually free up some CFM, but you don't want to go too crazy, because if you go too deep, it's also a good place to hit water. But I haven't had that problem with any of these heads so far. I would like to take one of these if I ever get my hands on a damaged one, cut it open, and see really how much aluminum's in there. But I've really had good luck with them, as I've said, several times now. They've been really good at being able to take the porting we've thrown at them. Now what you're seeing here is just a rough cut port. We haven't done any polishing to it yet, and we're going to move on.
Here's the intake side. And as you can see, they're in pretty good shape. It's a little rough here on the guide. We'll slick that off here on the guide bolt. But overall, they're not terrible. For out of box head, they're really not that bad. We got a little bit of casting slag up here, but nothing terrible. It's just sand casting in general. And they've already polished off part of the bowl from the factory. We'll open that up a little farther. But that's the intake side. Now let's look at the exhaust side that I've been working on for the last couple hours. Now here's the exhaust side. I still got to polish them. But this is just from basic port work, all by hand. Let's move over a port. And as you can see, we're getting some shadows, but that's just reflections. Got a little bit of something in there. Let's wipe that off. There you go. A piece of trash. A little bit of an air pinhole there, I think. Now, is it as accurate as CNCing? It can be. You just got to spend a lot of time. The CNC makes it quicker and repeatable. You can just keep slapping heads up there and hit and go. And as you can see, as I bring the camera in, it gets better on the light. So let's move back over here. See? All nice and smooth. That's all hand porting. Just takes a little practice. As they say, it's not rocket science. There you go. And we'll go back down here to the last one. Now, I still got to do the intakes. But after a few hours of doing these 4 exhausts, your hand gets a little tired. So it's time to stop for a while and do the intakes later.